Hey everyone, I'm Will.
And I'm Chantal. We're going awesome places.
We're currently in the middle of our safari adventures in Zambia with our partner, CLASSIC ZAMBIA Safaris. Something I know a lot of you have questions about is how do you pack for a safari? Let's get right into it. The first thing you need to know is that you have to pack incredibly light for safari, especially if you're coming to Zambia, where you arrive in Lusaka and then fly either a bush plane or helicopter like we did to many of the camps here. Space is limited, and they don't recommend hard-sided luggage. We flew with SkyTrails, Zambia's premier charter flight operator. They work closely with CLASSIC ZAMBIA on all of their itineraries, and for us that meant flying with them to get to Lower Zambezi and Kafue National Parks. Whether it's helicopter or plane, you're restricted to a 15-kilogram bag plus 5 kilogram in hand luggage, and these have to be soft-sided luggage and not hard shells. What's more important is that you have a total of 20 kilograms, which is 44 pounds. In reality, they aren't that strict about individual bag weights since they know people like me carry heavy camera equipment. If you've forgotten about all of this, don't worry. SkyTrails has these duffel bags you can borrow or buy, leaving your hard luggage at the offices, which you can then pick up when you come back to Lusaka. Typically we travel with our luggage, but in this case, we're traveling with the Peak Design 65-liter travel duffel. This is enough space to be able to pack both my own and Chantel's clothing, toiletries, and camera accessories that I couldn't fit in the backpack. For my camera backpack, I'm using this yellow Shimoda Action X50 backpack with the large DSLR core unit inside. I'll get into what's in there a little bit later. Additional bags include this Peak Design 6-liter outdoor sling, which is my day bag. And then finally, we have this 15-liter dry bag. With Safari, you quickly realize that it's not about the size of your bags, but the weight of it all. 20 kilograms is actually kind of tough, especially if you have a lot of camera gear like I do. Luckily though, with the two of us, SkyTrails allowed us to share the 40 kilograms, or else I'd be in serious trouble. Why don't we start with the clothes? First, it's worth mentioning though that we're coming to Zambia at the beginning of May, which is the start of the season. That means we're moving from the wet season to the dry season, or summer to winter. So these days, during the day, we're seeing highs of 30s, and in the evenings, it drops down to the low teens. I know this is gonna be a bit biased, but for this, I'm gonna focus what I brought as a guide. What I packed is a mix of that classic safari look and a clean modern look with merino shirts. For my button shirts, I have a mix of short sleeve and long sleeve. Most are by Columbia Sportswear, but I also have this one I picked up by Tilly. Knowing that we needed to pack super light for this trip, I picked up a set of clothing from Unbound Merino, who are partnering with this video. So what I have here are 2 t-shirts, including the one that I'm wearing, and this black one over here, a long sleeve Henley, this travel hoodie, and the shorts that I'm wearing right now. So why Unbound Merino? Well, first of all, they're Canadian, which I love, but more important to that, they're one of the leaders in high quality and premium wool clothing created for travelers. What makes merino so good for travel is that it's light, breathable, moisture wicking, packs really light, wrinkle-free, it doesn't give that scratchy feeling that you might remember from other merino wool, and finally, and most importantly, odor resistant. I'm not going to get into the science of it all, but apparently merino wool fibers will lock in odor molecules in the fiber and only get released upon washing. So yeah, I don't stink, right, Chantal?
Nope.
On top of that, I love how sleek it looks, has no logos, and works really well in the safari environment. So with literally 2 t-shirts, 1 long sleeve Henley, a travel hoodie for flights and when it gets cold in the morning, and these flex shorts, I haven't really needed to use much of their laundry service because everything is felt and smelled fresh, even after multiple uses. Merino is truly a game changer for safari because you can pack less. If you're curious about Unbound Merino, make sure to scan this QR code or go to the description down below with a link to all of the products that I used on this safari. Underwear and sock-wise, we each brought a set of 5, coinciding with the 5 nights we were staying at each of the 3 camps. Although, to be honest, I feel like we could have packed less thanks to their laundry service. Hat-wise, I packed this Tilly safari hat and this CL running cap, which you've seen in my other travels, really to be able to mix and match depending on the weather, my mood, and activity. And lastly, I did bring this packable Arc'teryx Squamish jacket as an additional layer over top, but to be honest, with the Unbound Merino travel hoodie, I haven't really needed it at all. The jacket was nice for a bit of sun protection, but it also seemed that the synthetic shell gave the protection I needed from the tsetse flies that were quite ferocious in Kafue National Park. That means that shoe-wise, I'm wearing these super comfortable and breathable Ultra Lone Peaks, which I've been using for a lot of my travels. And then Chantel is wearing her Nike trainers. That's all you need. I'm also wearing these flip-flops for especially hot days out here outside the tent, because inside the tent, each camp comes with their own slippers. So contrary to what you might believe, you won't encounter any mud because you're coming outside the rainy season. So when you're doing your walking safari, it's going to be super dry, compact, and very easy to walk on. So really all you need are a pair of ankle-high trainers. All right, when it comes to camera gear, I know it's a lot. As a content creator and a wildlife photographer, I know I'm bringing way more than what most people would bring, but I figured I'd do a rundown to at least give you a frame of reference. As most of you know, I shoot with OM System or previously Olympus. I've stuck by them despite everyone seemingly shooting with Sony, Canon, and Nikon. And a lot of it has to do with just this being a perfect travel camera system because it's light and portable, it's small in size, it's got world-class image stabilization, and really good subject detection. I brought two bodies. This is the OM1 Mark II, and I'm shooting with the OM1 Mark I. Both cameras are very similar, but the Mark II does have slightly improved subject detection. And I stuck with the OM1 class of cameras because they have more or less the same button configuration, so I can customize them the exact same way. So on the Safari vehicle, no matter which one I pick up, I'll know exactly how the buttons are set up, and that is really key when you're on Safari. Lens-wise, let's start with the largest. This is the famous 150 to 400 millimeter lens with a 1.25 teleconverter built in. This thing is a beast, and I use it for most of my photography. I would say probably 70% of the photos I'm taking is with this guy. And if you think about the full frame equivalency, this can go up to 1,000 millimeters. So those shots right up close to the leopard or lion, all with this. In terms of a medium telephoto, I brought the 50 to 200 millimeter lens to replace the 45 to 150 that I used to have. This lens is incredibly sharp, incredibly fast. Definitely recommend this one. So it's good to have a medium telephoto because sometimes this is a little bit too much. And so if I want to pull back, elephants especially, you'll want a medium telephoto. From a wide angle perspective, I'm actually shooting with it right now. This is the 7-14 f2.8. I brought it because I needed a ultra wide lens to be able to capture the interior spaces. Now, if I were you, I would probably bring something like the 12-40 f2.8. There's also the 8-25 f4, which I love as a wide angle lens. It doesn't go as wide as the 7, but 8-25 is quite versatile and can punch in as well. And finally, from a lens perspective, I have this little guy. This is the 8mm fisheye lens, and I brought this really for astrophotography. Yes, completely unnecessary, but really a fun lens that I brought along with me. And finally, these two guys are the teleconverters, the 1.4x teleconverter and 2x teleconverter. I can tell you now that I have not put these on at all, except maybe one time when I had a lot of extra time to work with. They're nice to have to give you that extra reach if you're bringing fewer lenses. In my case, I kind of cover the range, so I'm literally switching between lenses and not so much popping these on. I think the challenges with teleconverters is that it just takes time and effort to be able to put them on and take them off, and you lose light by using them. So I've much preferred kind of sticking to the native lenses, but that's just me. I also brought the DJI Pocket 4, which is a super handy vlogging camera. This is great for commentary videos, to be able to shoot day in the life, and overall is just always an awesome little travel camera to bring around with me. I also did bring my DJI Mini 5 Pro drone just in case there are opportunities to fly with it, and I know I have a shotgun mic as well. And if that wasn't enough, I also packed an Insta360 X5 and one of my older GoPros. With the Insta360, there was an opportunity to really try some interesting perspectives while walking, while in a safari vehicle. With the GoPro, and this as well, with SkyTrails, they allowed us to mount our cameras, because we're working with them, to get really cool POVs with them. So hopefully the footage turned out okay, but that's why I brought these. Bear with me. There's more, because You have things like neck straps, which are great for safari. I have a lens pen, blower, tons of accessories that go into pouches like these, special mounts for the Insta360s, jaw clamp, lighting, tripod, shotgun mic, the DJI Mic 3 as well. So just a ton of different accessories. I'm not gonna go through them all, but you can see in a video production environment, you gotta bring a lot of gear, and that's why my backpack is so heavy. So what happens with all the photos and videos that I take? How do I have that much memory? Well, first of all, lots of memory cards in here, both standard SD and also micro SD cards. So I got that. But that's not gonna last all the days that we're out here. So I do have my MacBook Pro. I am offloading photos on a daily basis and videos onto here. I made sure to clear up space before coming, but even then I was a bit paranoid that I might run out. So I do have one of these. This is a SanDisk Professional Pro Blade. So the Pro Blade memory is here. This is 4 terabytes SSD. So that plugs into the laptop, and I'm putting most of my videos in this. If my phone runs out of storage, and I got a lot of storage on my phone, but just in case, I also have one of these guys, which gives me another 2 terabytes to plug in via USB-C to my iPhone. So I think I got all the memory pieces covered, and I definitely recommend that you think about it before you come. And finally, I promise this is the end. This is the monopod that I brought as well. A little extra, I know, but in doing some research, I saw a lot of pro photographers coming out to safari and using this to be able to get those really low to the ground angles of wildlife. So these photos I actually shot with the monopod, and it turned out pretty good. I won't bore you with all the details of the personal items that we brought, but here are a couple things that you'll want to consider. First off, you're going to want to bring a lot of sunscreen. It gets really sunny in Zambia, whether you're doing a walking safari, canoe especially, but you'll also see a lot of sun with game drives and the boat safari as well. Also bring a lot of body lotion, hand lotion, and chapstick. We also brought our own mosquito repellent, but to be honest, the ones provided in each tent by CLASSIC ZAMBIA are just as effective, if not more effective. This being a malaria zone, we also decided to play it safe, so we also got prescription before we left on our trip. Another thing that's worth noting is that shower gel, shampoo, conditioner, hand soap, and body lotion are all part of the tent, so if you don't bring any, you're covered. And lastly, towels are provided for all guests, so you don't need to bring your own. Daypack wise, here's what I got. So this is the Peak Design 6-liter outdoor sling, and I use this bag primarily for camera accessories, quick and easy access items, and I put my second body here with wide angle lens and pocket as well. This was great to have with you on your game drive right next to you, so you can grab your battery, memory card, air blower because it gets super dusty. This is the super quick and easy access things, on top of also bringing this backpack, which was near us, but a little bit inconvenient sometimes to get to some of those items. Chantel brought this North Face backpack. It's a great day pack, and it carries a lot of the things that she needs. For the canoe safari, I brought this dry bag because I knew that I couldn't bring this yellow backpack on board. So this bag was useful for putting in things like camera accessories, my large lens, second body as well, just to keep it protected from the water. Completely optional, but something that you might want to bring as well. Another important part of your safari kit is your binoculars. A pair between the two of us was perfect because I never really got to use it because I was so focused on the camera. The one we got for this trip was the Vortex Viper HD 10x42. Coming from an 8x42, we found that the 10x magnification was really helpful, especially for birds, and the Vortex clarity is really unparalleled. Something else we invested in was one of these harnesses that put the pressure off your neck and making it easier to use, especially on walking safaris. Highly recommended. And last quick thing about water bottles. We brought our own, but if you're just coming to CLASSIC ZAMBIA for safari, each guest gets their own reusable bottle that you can refill. On top of that, from the meals, morning breaks, afternoon teas, and sundowners, they always keep you hydrated. Well, that about covers all of our packing tips and advice for safari. While we are in Zambia, this really can apply to most safaris in southern Africa, so hopefully this gives you a clear picture of what to bring for your upcoming trip. If you're curious about our Zambia safari and our Classic Zambia experience, make sure to watch our other videos, which will be recommended at the end. Looking for that authentic African safari experience with Classic Zambia Safaris? We've partnered with them so that you can book through our special referral code to get a free private lunch for your group if your trip includes Kafue National Park. Having a private boat lunch like ours could be yours. Thanks to Unbound Merino for sponsoring this video. If you want to pack less, make weight for the plane, and have high quality merino pieces, scan this QR code or get the link in the description down below. New customers get 10% off your first purchase. Seriously, you guys gotta come here for safari. Zambia is a real hidden secret, and our trip has been a true, raw, and immersive experience, just like of legendary Hemingway. Well, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Zikomo Kwambili, and I'll see you in the next Zambia video.